Hello and welcome to the Team Meta College Conference Spring Showdown. Orange corner as red. Oh my goodness, watching it as it
being like a void space for community building.
Now you can see these freshmen and sophomores that have not had that interaction at all. They're completely online because of COVID.
He said, "Go! Oh my gosh, Osaka!"
Welcome back to Age of Coronavirus College Edition. I'm your host, Chase Kurtz. And joining us today, Adrienne McIntyre. She's the head coach of Stevens Stars at Stevens College, the esports program. And also joining us is Laplios. What do you play, Laplios?
I primarily play tank in Overwatch. As of right now, Overwatch is our only game, but we're looking to expand.
Adrienne, you were nominated for GameHer's Best Analyst of the Year. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I don't really know much about that, but it was pretty cool.
You got nominated for something you don't know anything about?
Yeah, I know that I got nominated, obviously, but most of the analyst work that I did was outside of collegiate teams and stuff that were on the radar.
I got you.
But it felt good.
It always feels good to win an award. How does it feel becoming the head coach at such an early time of esports?
It's awesome. My last job, I was working at a pet store part-time, and now I'm here. So it feels amazing for sure. And I don't know, esports is still new, yeah, but I feel like it's so present that it, it doesn't really feel like it's as new as it is. My first day here was April 1st, 2020. One day before our city shut down. So it was interesting.
So you come a long way. I mean, you started off at Kent State as an assistant coach, and then you were assistant coaching for Plus Mafia and Honey Badgers, and now you're head coach.
Yeah, I don't want to say that this was an accident, but I joined Kent State really as a player advocate because there were issues with clashing personalities on the team, and that's how I started coaching. I was like, wow, I could help this one kid. And then after Kent State, the head coach and we made Honey Badgers, and kind of just went from there. I just couldn't stop.
So you enjoy that process of cultivating relationships on the teams?
Yeah, I think that's something that I do very well, which sounds kind of weird, but there's definitely teams and coaches where you don't feel like you can go to that coach very easily, and that there's a very distinct separation between coach and player. And I feel like with all the teams that I've been on, it's been a lot easier to build meaningful relationships with my players, and that definitely helps us in our gameplay.
Well, Laplios could probably speak to the cultivation of relationships. Tell us how that's going.
Well, I started esports and just PC gaming in 2019 when I first started going to Stevens. Before then, I didn't really know much about esports or what that really meant. And so it was a little rough at first. This was before Adrienne had joined us. But it was just learning how to, play the game along with meeting these new people and then learning these new techniques all at the same time while trying to start your first year of college.
Right.
And it got easier as time went by, and it was much more easier as Adrienne joined us, because I was hitting a hard rut in my learning process with the game. But this Adrienne's unique coaching style and support is something that really helped and benefited us as a team, and then individually as a player.
What was the challenge in Overwatch that was kind of rubbing against you?
I'd say nerfs and comp changes. So I had started playing Sigma, Like that's the one that I just stuck to because it just worked. And then as like the game progressed, he got nerfed, and then they took away some of his abilities, or like lessened some of his abilities. And so I just, for a while, didn't really know how to play because that was all I knew. But then once like Adrienne came in and started helping us as a team, I was able to broaden my my understanding of the game and the different characters.
Right. How did you get interested in playing video games? Did you have interest before?
I did. I only primarily focused on console gaming, so I had a PS4, and so I only did like Call of Duty and Apex at that time.
Right.
And so I didn't really even know what Overwatch was until I went on campus to Stevens, and they were promoting a bunch of like Overwatch stuff and to go try out. It was really interesting.
What was the biggest difference between going from a console and to PC for you?
I'd say just the aiming. It's really hard for me to transition back into like aiming with a control, because like the thing I love about PC is that with the mouse you get to like change the DPI and the sensitivity, and you get to like really like configure it to how comfortable you are with it.
Yeah.
And then with the control, it's like either the control is like stuck a little bit, or with age it like has drifting, or like you barely move it once and then the character just swipes across the screen, and like, or you turn down the sensitivity a little bit and then you're like a little snail just moving around.
Yeah, there's also that delay that
right,
you get
yes.
in the console, and you know, when you on the PCs they seem to really pick up quite fast. Describe how your journey has been becoming a team with everybody.
To go eat together, like lunch, and just trying to familiarize each other with like how we are outside of the game, so that we're comfortable enough in the game. Like if we need something done, we can just yell and just say it, and then it'll be done. And so we're still in the process of getting comfortable and trusting each other in game. But I think that we have made huge strides in that direction.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. And Adrienne, how did you know Overwatch before? So that made that easier to coach, or was this a new game for you?
So I used to be on like the PS3, and Overwatch is basically the only game I play now. And it's pretty much been that way for about 5 years. So yeah, I mean, as far as like coaching, it probably took me a year or two of like playing and figuring out like the different strategies and stuff. But yeah, I don't play other games.
You know, the future is looking bright for esports. Where do you see your careers going? And this is a question for both of you in the next few years.
I mean, I really see myself like being like an esports director. I think that I'm kind of like getting that director-esque experience right now, as far as learning and understanding how an esports program should be run. So yeah, like I would really like to be that person that comes into a school that has no idea what they're doing and be like, hey, like this is what you need, this is how you're going to set it up, build that program, and then move on to the next school, because it's really sad to see schools make these programs and then them fail within like a year or two.
Welcome back to Age of Coronavirus College Edition. And joining us today is Matthew King. He is the Esports Coordinator for University of North Dakota. And Matt, tell us what goes into your esports program and how did you get the job?
All right. Well, there's a lot that goes into the coordination, especially since pretty much I'm helping to lead initiatives across campus for academic, competitive, recreational activities, which requires a lot of coordination. You know, the larger university you go to, the more departments there are, the more kind of groups you have to meet, talk with. There's different colleges, things like that. So I have to coordinate between a number of different groups. Marketing is one of the ones that I go to pretty much most of the time, anything I'm doing. Right. But there's, there's business college is one that we're working with. There's the college that I'm under, which is CEHD. and then a few other colleges that we're trying to work with to get a lot of good academic programs going. I really got the job because I've been in the collegiate esports world at this point now. I've been here for over a year, but I've been in here for about in the world for about 3 years now. I started my journey at University of Pikeville a few years back. But even before then, I had been trying to work within the esports industry for a while. So I've been volunteering for a lot of smaller teams that were trying to go pro or semi-pro, which was kind of the route that a lot of people had to take. A lot of people that are working within the industry these days were volunteering their time years back for events, for teams, even trying to start a team or play on a team. A lot of it takes, free time to make something like that happen.
Now, when you said you're working on the academic side or the business side, are you talking about classes that pertain to the business of esports?
So we're working on curriculum right now. We're very early in the business college in that process. They want to support it. They want to bring forth really kinesiology is where a lot of our interest has been from the academic side as in faculty and support. So yes, we're trying to work towards an esports major within the next few years. Actually, we're starting our processes to get that going. We're thinking it might be multidisciplinary, but it will still most likely be housed under kinesiology. So really dealing with, coaching, leadership, things like that on kind of the competitive side.
Would that also pertain to like historical?
It might, depending on the routes we're going. We're starting to build out our courses and content right now. We have 2 classes that are 3 credit courses within kinesiology, which one is just intro to esports. Then the other one we have named as esports, which is really just general coaching practices, kind of fusing traditional coaching and what we currently have going on with esports coaching. And also trying to figure out that world because it's still relatively new. A lot of the processes and understanding of how it works is going on right now. There's a lot of research starting to happen related to that.
And it's also growing too. So it's like trying to catch up to a train that's going to a destination that you're not sure of.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be interesting to see where it goes. I know last March, when you first joined, you were doing submissions to students about what kind of games they would be interested in seeing go into the esports curriculum. Are you still doing that?
Yes, I still kind of take polling, curriculum-wise, also competitive, for our competitive program, which we have named North Dakota Varsity Esports. I always try to poll the students as well as checking to see, I try to watch the overall industry to see if there's any new games coming up, things like that. That would be interesting to take part in. For the curriculum side, a lot of what I tend to do is I only really consider games that are free-to-play games and also relatively light on systems, so that it gives as many students as possible the chance to partake in the course. We also have, obviously, during COVID, we had to be a lot lighter on on-campus courses and activities. But we have an esports lab that I am going to, be using for courses as well, or at least having it open to the students that might not have computer units that can run the games that we have running for our courses right now. They can use that space to their advantage.
Yeah, you brought up an interesting point that we're kind of limited on the types of games we can play based on the technology that we have available to us. do you see that esports, the popularity of esports will create technology that will be easier access over time?
I feel like that will happen. I think that's only the natural order of things. Is we'll develop either technology or methods of delivering technology to a wider group of people. I also believe that on the flip side, with the advent of esports and how popular it's become and how it's really continuing to grow, even, though COVID did obviously kind of stunt some growth, but it's still pushing. I believe that we might see more titles, more game titles themselves being created with all of that in mind. How can we make it available to a wider group of people? I mean, realistically, that's why games like League of Legends became so popular. It's because they built it in mind with availability in mind to make it so that as many people could play it as possible.
Are you talking about a more software based thing, or is it the structure of the video game itself, the story and the?
I'm talking about the software side of it. Yeah.
Okay.
The structure of the video game. I mean, the story and structure obviously is very important, but to get people to connect to it. But I think, your first hurdles would be, if you're trying to make something as accessible as possible, is making it so that even low-end devices could play it. Mobile games are really starting to gain a lot of footing in the North American scene, which I think would be a good pathway for that.
Yeah, I agree with you that the origin of these games being able to play freely on a mobile device should be a great esport to develop for bigger programs, and it makes it easier to play on a PC. Where do you see esports going in the next 5 years? Do you think that VR will catch on as a big esport?
5 years in VR, I mean, really, we're still so early in the days of VR. It's progressed a lot from what it was even 3 years ago, but for it to be competitively viable, there has to be a consistency, realistically. I will say, Beat Saber would probably be the closest to a competitive game that we could have at this point in time. It's a relatively simple concept too, right? You stand still and you hit on beat, kind of like Guitar Hero, but a virtual reality version. I don't know. In 5 years, maybe we will have progressed to a certain point that maybe it would be like Ready Player One. Who knows? Because sometimes technology just gets a break and light speed forward. But there's a couple of benchmarks that need to be hit, I think, beforehand. There has to be a lot of good consistency. Again, price of the units. How expensive is it for your regular person to be able to utilize VR realistically? Because if you're wanting to be a heavy esport title, it seems like access availability is kind of the main thing that you have to look at.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody recently, and they said that VR is usually sold as a novelty item.
Yep.
And so it would be hard to create an esports around that. It'd have to be more accessible. VR needs to catch up to a more a realistic looking image. And I think we're close to that. If you've seen Unreal Engine, I think it was 5, and just the kind of graphics and that they're coming up with is just incredible. If we could see that take hold, I think on VR, it would change the game.
I agree. That could help out quite a bit in the space. And I mean, they're making insane strides in that direction. The graphics compared to what I saw whenever I was a kid, compared to what we see today, it's a world of difference.
Yeah, going from Mario 64, which blew me away back then, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody that you could do that on a console. I'm getting 3D graphics on my television screen.
Yeah.
It was just a game changer.
Yeah, I remember that too. That was actually one of the first games I ever played. So I remember, those graphics were just mind blowing at the time. I was like, oh, this is really, this is awesome. And now I look back at it and I'm like, I can't actually believe I thought, that was amazing at some point.
Yeah, it just seems like that coming out of Plato's cave is just endless.
Exactly.